Hi, it's Joe from Thunk Tank Podcast, and thanks for joining me today. I wanted to do just a quick video on a topic that's been of particular interest for me lately. And it's a topic that I don't think we've covered much actually in the podcast, but I've done some writing and tweeting and Insta hashtagging about it a little bit, so I thought I'd do just a brief video to sort of expand and elaborate on some of what I've been sharing on all of them social medias. So all the multimedias going on here. Anyways, so this topic, of course, as you can see here, is on recycling. And basically, I'm a very avid fan of beach life and going to the beach, whether it's summer or winter. Obviously, not so much in the winter to swim, but I still do hiking and jogging and all that sort of stuff. And what I notice, particularly in the winter months, is that the trash and litter tends to accumulate over those months. Perhaps because there's not as many people around picking it up. And it really got to the point where it's sort of hard to ignore. You'll be running or walking down the beach and you'll just see more plastic scraps, whether those are bags, papers, cans, whatever the case may be. More of those than is really comfortable to see in a, what should otherwise be a very serene and beautiful marine environment. And I'll show some pictures in a moment. So I took it upon myself to just start bringing garbage bags with me and started to do some collecting. And I think I've learned a lot in the past few weeks just starting to do this. Interestingly enough, as you see here, I have this article, Poisoned by Plastics, which is actually a sample article that I use when I teach analysis in my classes. Of course, for those of you who don't know, I teach college-level writing, and actually, again, I use this article to talk about the rhetoric of persuasion, how to persuade people of a point of view. So this is an opinion article, as per the title, about how plastics are poisoning the oceans. Go figure. So this really stood out to me, in addition to just the rhetorical strategies of trying to convince people to be more efficient or less wasteful, I guess, and explaining what we can do both as a society but on an individual level to sort of try to help clean things up because of the vast consequences of not doing so. So I will link this in the description so that you can read this article in full, but there's really a lot here that stands out as very disturbing information in terms of how the marine environment globally is really degrading. And so another thing that I did after my first couple of cleanups was I wrote this article that you can see here. Well, blog post, article, whatever you want to call it. And some of the pictures here are quite unfortunate, quite disturbing when you really look at the types of trash here and how, again, it's sort of just becoming part of the environment, but not in a good way, obviously. I had my buddy here to help me out. And you can see here, there's all types of stuff that just doesn't belong at all. And in starting to do some of this cleaning and starting to do some research on it, I realized what a problem this is on a fundamental level of asking how do we actually deal with this. A lot of these, bulkier items, sure, I can pick up and recycle, but a much larger issue or concern to me are these little bits that you can make out some of them here, but as far as I know, they're not very recyclable. Little, just kind of, I talk about these little pieces of styrofoam and stuff that just kind of crumble in your hands, and as per that article, that still becomes part of the ocean environment and degrades the oceans in its own ways. So that's a larger issue of how we can become more efficient and self-sustaining, I think, as a society. So even my last trip, I think, the other day, I covered maybe a mile of beach, and I filled up an entire bag just with bulk stuff, bottles, caps, items that are more recyclable. And one way to find that out, which is something that you should do if you decide to go on an adventure like this, and I guess that's my point, to encourage people to go out and do adventures like this. I mean, even when I go out, people kind of look at me funny, wondering, I think, what I'm up to. And of course, I'm just picking up trash lying around, but I wonder if I would like to hope they think self-reflectively too, wondering, well, wait a minute, what am I doing not helping in that way? And again, if you just, as you can see here, I Googled my own town's sort of guidelines and regulations on recycling and how to do that and how that actually works. And I think that's something you want to check as well. You can see here it's fairly comprehensive, at least for my town. And I know states have different laws and rules, and definitely look into that, because you'll see there's pretty extensive lists, I think, in terms of what you can throw out, but also what you can recycle too. So you can see here some items they don't accept, and some of them are very common items, like no plastic bags, which I find a lot of on something like the beach. So I did a little bit of research and discovered that there are places, I think like Walmart or grocery stores, they'll take back bags. I don't know if they'll only take them back if they're clean, or they actually, I don't know what they do with them. So that's something I got to look into a little bit more. But yeah, it still doesn't address the issue, the fact that what do we do with these other pieces of plastic and junk that maybe don't fit into some of these categories of recyclable. So I've seen some interesting solutions, just starting to do some research online in terms of repurposing plastic with like 3D printers and that sort of thing. But of course, I don't have a 3D printer, at least not yet. But maybe that's something in the future I could get and do a video on that. Who knows? We'll see. So I'm still doing a lot of research, and I think that's sort of where this type of stuff begins. I've already collected several bags of items from the beach that, are fully recyclable, and I've recycled them. So, that's taken it off the beach and out of the water, which is a good thing. So you can do that anywhere too. You don't need a beach to do that. I mean, look along the side of any highway or road or lakes or rivers or wherever else people tend to leave everything behind. And, unfortunately, you'll find no shortage of items to pick up. But you know what? If you're especially going there anyways, like I do to the beach, might as well, help out however you can. So I would love to hear about more solutions in the comments below, especially to some of these issues that I don't quite have answers to yet. So please, I encourage you, if you've heard of any other solutions, or you have any other information that might be helpful for me and certainly for other viewers, please share what you know. And other than that, thank you very much for joining me again, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.